Today we have several places we're going to tour, so on the long bus trip we decided to share our homestay stories with each other. Wanda and Angela got to visit some family they haven't seen in years.
Dog and sit on these benches, and we had dogs, so I kept bringing out this raw meat, and they had charcoal grill, and so my aunt would cook it up, and she would wrap it up. She kept feeding Angela, but she just kept like putting it in her mouth. It was really cute. And I kept getting on my Korean English dictionary trying to figure out words, and so that was really interesting. So after we ate a lot, we went to Itaewon Street, which is this mile-long stretch of just shops. And it's just like, there were a lot of military people there, a lot of tourists, that kind of thing. And they had so many shops just for shoes, so I was in heaven.
Student at another university, she's a junior. And so he picked me up when we arrived at their home and got me settled in and introduced me to everybody. And we did a lot all weekend with sign language, pretty much. And his daughter spoke English well enough for us, after several minutes of conversation, to try to get out.
Back roads, just barely big enough for one car, and apparently that's the way he comes and goes to work, to relax. And his father, who's in his 80s, is a grape farmer, still active, and so that was very interesting. You've seen some of the roadside stands. We pulled over and got sweet melons for later on. He asked us if we wanted to try some, and he told the woman, and suddenly she whips out a knife, peels one, quarters it, and hands it into the car for us to try on the spot.
That on the way, like in the car, and he was asking me questions like where we flew out of, and I said from Nashville in Tennessee. We started singing a song about the Tennessee River, and it was really funny.
Many things, experience so many different experiences. They made me feel like a queen. You know, it was just wonderful, and I showed them pictures of my grandchildren, so they wanted to buy things for my grandchildren, especially the grandson. He has two daughters, a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old, but he wants a son so bad.
Our first stop was POSCO, the third largest steel maker in the world. With its 2,200 acres, most of it built in 1968, they have their own railway system and their own power plants, and even their own helicopter. They make materials to build buildings, cars, ships, bridges, and then stainless steel for decorations and house items. I wasn't allowed to take my camera inside most of the facilities, but we did get to see them cutting the steel and making it. It was really neat to see how that's done. Our next stop was the Cheomatong, or King's Tomb. The mounds that they had for the burial grounds were absolutely gorgeous. The bigger the popularity of the person, the bigger the mound for the burial. These things were huge. We got to go inside one, but of course I couldn't take my video camera again. As we were leaving, I asked Paul to explain some of the things that she talked about inside the tomb.
I thought that for the most part, the construction was very interesting and how they kept the layers together. Obviously, they had some intention with it in terms of keeping it from being stolen, because it put so much weight on the tomb itself. When it collapsed, after the years would rot the wood away, it gave an extra layer of protection, so anybody that was trying to steal things from the tomb would actually have a kind of a tomb in their own if they got hit by those rocks.
The next stop was the Bogoksa Temple. We were first faced by the guards of the temple, which are pretty scary. These are the kind of guys you want guarding your place. There were many parts to the temple, many of them containing beautiful gold statues. These statues were of Buddha and other important people of the Buddhist religion. Several people were there worshiping. We also stopped at the Wish Garden, where you take a rock and pile it on top of another rock and make a wish. Our final stop was the Shilla Kiln Pottery Factory.
He's the master of this workshop. He's been making it for over 40 years, but the key works for him. He's been also in this business for a long time, so he's making one for us for demonstration.
This guy had a lot of talent. I could not believe how easily he started making something out of nothing. At first it just looked like a mound, but as he continued to spin the wheel with his leg, it started turning into something very beautiful. He was using leather to twist and turn the clay the way he needed to turn it. All of a sudden there was a pot in front of us. He continued to work hard without saying a word about anything. He didn't even act like he knew we were there. He continued to work, and what started as a bowl and turned into a pot was now beginning to take shape of a vase. We weren't really sure what he was making for us. It was time to take it off of the wheel. He started cutting away from the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Another beautiful gift for the Murray State group.